Hi everyone, Flora here. So today we're going to talk all about resistance and how we just need to fuck resistance and really get past it so that we can start living a life that matters to us, okay? So what is resistance? Resistance is that feeling or that internal pull backwards. It's that feeling of procrastination. It's that feeling that when we have something to do in our lives, and well, it's either we've got something to do or we've got a place to go or we've got an experience that we need to experience, like we've got an event we need to go to. But we have this resistance, and we resist the urge or resist the knowing that we have to do it. And we're just like, okay, so why am I feeling this resistance? Why am I feeling, well, and a lot of the times too, when people are feeling that backward pull or that procrastination or that waiting game of knowing we need to do something or knowing that we want to do something, but we just choose to not do it. Okay, we've got that backward pull, like I said. A lot of people are just like, well, I don't understand why I do this. I don't understand why this happens. Well, part of it is self-sabotage. I mean, a lot of people self-sabotage in their lives over and over and over again. I've got a whole class about self-sabotage inside of the 1 Degree Shift Tribe. But self-sabotage essentially is knowing what we want and then taking every effort that we have and every action to make sure that we don't get it. Okay? And it's allowing ourselves temporary comfort for something that we know that we need to do, which is going to cause us more discomfort because we don't actually do it. And so that temporary comfort actually comes from avoiding something that we know we really want to do. So again, this resistance and why we resist, again, part of it is self-sabotage, and it's just what we're used to doing. Another thing is that we're afraid of doing something, or we're scared of doing something, and we're afraid to face whatever it is that this thing might face us with. So it could be talking in a meeting. It could be having a challenging conversation with someone. It could be even going to the gym and working out. Like, we have this resistance of, maybe I don't want to do this. I want to do this, but not today. Part of it also is that we might be avoiding something, and we have been avoiding something for so long that it's just habit. It's just part of who we are. Now, how does this impact our life? How does this really truly impact our happiness? Well, the first thing is it keeps us from fully feeling alive and fully living in the now, because we are avoiding. And if you truly were living in the now, you would say, oh, I want to go work out. Let me go do that. Or, oh, I need to have this challenging conversation with someone. So you go have the challenging conversation with someone, you know. But we hold back and we're like, not so much. I'm not going to do this. And that holds you back from joy. It holds you back from that feeling of freedom when you finally do that thing that you've been resisting, you know. Several weeks ago, actually it was January 6th, because I'm looking at my calendar right now. I had just come back from 3 weeks of vacation and felt myself going down this spiraling rabbit hole of comparison. And I wasn't feeling my best because I was sick for several weeks during, December. And I was like, ugh. And I felt such a huge level of resistance. And I felt like no matter what I did, it just didn't feel easy. It didn't feel in flow. It didn't feel good for me to do it. And I was like, I literally had a fucking meltdown. So then I was just like, okay, what am I resisting? I'm resisting writing my book. Okay, why? Well, because it feels a little bit overwhelming, because this is the book that I've been waiting to write for so long and wanting to write for so long. And I have had several drafts of this book written. So I'm just like, okay, what would feel good right now? Just to be done with it. Just to finish the freaking edits already. So I was like, okay, fine. So for the next 3 days, that's all that I did. If I wasn't meeting with a client, if I wasn't making a video, that's literally all I was doing. And the final day, I actually was on my computer from 2 in the afternoon until 9 o'clock at night, finishing all the major edits sending them to my editor and going, oh my God, finally. And I felt this huge level of freedom and this huge giving way, if you will, of energy. And where, you know, like before, I felt all this restriction and it felt very heavy and tight. And after I finished it, all of a sudden I felt this huge expansiveness of like, okay, now what can I do? Yay, now what? Now what? Now what? Because I wasn't letting that tether me to the past and tether me knowing, well, everything else that I'm doing, literally in my business, everything else this year is based off of my book, my 1 Degree Shift Tribe membership, my Lunch and Learns. Everything. And this is the platform and the basis of my coaching anyway. And I've been coaching and sharing with people the 1 Degree Shift method for years, but it's finally being put into a book. So again, because this is such a big project, there was a little bit of resistance. I'm like, shit, this is literally that tipping point I know that is going to tip me into a whole nother level in my business. And so allow yourself to recognize that when you recognize what you're resisting and you recognize where you're self-sabotaging and where you're procrastinating and where you're just holding yourself back and you're not letting yourself just do the damn thing already, know that that energy is still going to be there until you just do it. And when you finally just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to fuck resistance. I'm just going to do this. I am going to do this. I know I can. I believe in myself. I might be a little freaked out. I might be a little scared, but I'm going to do it anyway, okay? And do it, and I want you to recognize how empowering that makes you feel, whether it's getting up and going to the gym or putting on music and dancing around the house or finally finishing that book that you've been wanting to finish. Or, like I said, having that difficult conversation with someone, whatever it is that you have been resisting. Today, this week, give yourself permission to just do it. And then afterwards, I want you to recognize the expansive feeling that you get, that feeling of freedom and that feeling of like, oh, hell yeah. Now what can I do? Now what is possible? Because that's the thing. These things that we resist, they're going to keep persisting in our lives and take up all this energy and all this space. And when we have this resistance, you're not open to receiving more. You're not open energetically to receiving the things that you really want to receive. So in order to get those things that you want more easily, just finish those things that you've been resisting. Do those things that you're resisting, and you're going to feel your energy open up. You're going to feel that expansiveness, and you're going to feel such a huge shift in your mindset. Now, some people might say, well, what does mindset have to do with this? Mindset has to do with absolutely everything. You've heard me talk about the law of thinking, the law of increase, the law of attraction. All three of those influence what you get in your life. And when you feel resistance in your life, you're focusing on that resistance. You're focusing on that thing that you don't want. Therefore, you get more of it. And when you just say, fuck it, I'm going to do this, what happens is you just release that, and then all of a sudden everything just starts to open up and you're like, oh my God, what else is possible? This is so exciting. Oh my gosh. So oftentimes, however, okay, people need to adjust their mindset in order to feel ready to just say, fuck it, I'm going for it. So if you have struggled in the past with your mindset, if you've struggled with really truly feeling like you got your shit together and that you really have what it takes to get what you want, I have a special offer for you today. We are doing the Lunch and Learn classes again, which I'm super excited about. And today's class is all about mindset shifts that actually work. So if you're interested in joining me today at noon Central Standard Time for an hour-long class about mindset, what is mindset, why it impacts us, how it's formed, can we change our mindset, that whole shebang. If you're interested in joining me for this class, what I want you to do is click the link, save your spot for today's class. You'll get access to the replay for 2 weeks. It's so freaking exciting. But again, if you struggle with resistance and if you struggle with procrastination and self-sabotaging and you've struggled with your mindset in the past, like I said, I would encourage you to take what I've shared with you today in this in this video and allow yourself to just really say, can I do this? Do I really truly believe that I can do this? And if yes, go for it. If not, if you feel that there's still something that needs to shift, join us for the class today. Click the link, save your seat for this class. I promise you, it is going to be a game changer. I love you all so very much. Thank you for joining me for today's class and today's video. And I will see you back here next week. Mwah! Bye.